Sustenance. It goes in your mouth. It makes your mouth chew, makes your brain work. Then you poo it out. Then you put more in, and then that's how the human body works. I say that to my kids. I say that's how it works. Put good things in.
Yeah, I do.
And then like stuff, it burns energy like a boiler or fire.
I make up songs sometimes with my boy, but then I sort of realised that he might be repeating them at nursery and stuff.
What, do they have swear words in?
No, but they're just a bit random, and they may have poo in them or something.
Yeah,
it's also like when we were on holiday. We started making up stories about our dog, and it was complicated, but basically I started going to my boy, because our dog's called Molly. I started going, hey, have you heard about when Molly bought a speedboat? And she was zooming around the sea, but she can't really drive a speedboat, and then she crashed into. And there was all these stories involved our postman, because our postman's scared of our dog, and our dog always barks at the postman. It's such a cliche. But then my boy introduced like this other character called the Barbecue Man. I have no idea where he came from. So we're embellishing all these stories about the Barbecue Man and the postman always having their endeavours undone by our dog and her latest idiotic business venture or purchased hovercraft. But then we're on the plane home from holiday. My boy got talking to this little lad who's in the row in front, and his mum. And his mum's going, where have you been? And what's your name? And stuff. And then my boy started telling her one of these stories, except that in the retelling by a 3-year-old, it made no sense whatsoever, except it made just enough sense that I think she thought it might have been a real story. Because at no point did he say that Molly was a dog, but he did suggest that whoever this Molly character was, that they'd bought a speedboat and then they'd smashed through a barbecue and gone up a beach. And you can see this woman going, right, okay. And he was going on and on. I was kind of going, but I couldn't get in there.
Did you lean in and go, the thing is, Molly, Mummy, it's a bit of a drinker. Either that or the the throttle jammed on again on the speedboat. It sounds like a shit version of Live and Let Die.
Well, I'd be proud to make a shit version of Live and Let Die.
Do you know what? It's the best Bond film.
Spy Who Loved Me.
It's really good. I watched Live and Let Die the other day. Also, I watched The Man with the Golden Gun over Christmas. Forgot how much AMC product placement was going on. I mean, there was a lot.
Where whole fleets of left-hand drive cars driving on the wrong side of the road in Thailand, is it? Yeah, I know. A lot of product placement.
Also, Mr. Scaramanga, was he a sex tourist?
I think so. Why else was he out there?
Well, quite. Also, AMC product placement. I'm yet to see a car chase with more body roll. The one where, before it turns into the plane, is it the AMC Matador or the Hornet?
Well,
is he in the Matador and Bond is in the Hornet?
The Hornet does that.
The Hornet does the corkscrew jump. So he's in the
Matador's
Hornet.
a big salute, I think.
Matador turns into the plane, I think. But obviously Bond, Roger, is driving the Hornet with the cop, fat cop in the passenger seat. The body roll that is just... I had to pause it several times and I took pictures of the screen because the lean was just amazing.
I don't know if you've seen, a few weeks ago, Modern Classics magazine. Quite a good mag. They had Tiff on the front.
The front?
On the front, he's on the cover. He was on the cover doing a weird, like he'd won the lottery or something. And he'd got his fleet of cars that he'd already blown all his cash on. Arms out. And I looked at that, actually, I couldn't quite tell if he'd been photoshopped in. He looked like he might have been at slightly the wrong scale. Like, sort of, he was a 16/17 version of Tiff standing next to an old M3. He was choosing his favourite BMW. This was the whole feature that he did. And I hadn't read the feature. I just saw it. But then, in my head, I was thinking, now, what would Tiff's favourite BMW do? And I suddenly thought, what if Tiff had completely lost his marbles, and his favourite BMW that he accidentally chosen for this Prominent magazine cover story was like the original Z3 1.9, because as it turns out, Tiff is a massive fan of GoldenEye. He just loves anything to do with GoldenEye.
Non-M cars.
Oh no, non-M, the 1.9. 1.9, woefully underpowered, particularly because it's got extremely fat tyres on that it doesn't need. So it will not drift at all.
You dump the clutch at 6,000 RPM, and all it does is
just digs.
Damages the clutch.
Exactly. It's a horrible prop shaft wind-up. But Tiff likes that. He's completely lost his senses. It's just, I don't know what's happened to him, but that's it. He'd ranked that number one because of the GoldenEye connection.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, a 1991 316i. The 525e from the 80s. I just love that it actually has a 2.7 litre engine. It was the first factually incorrect BMW badge. And so it goes on. You just go, Tiff, what's happened to you, man? You're just listing shit BMWs.
I want Tiff to do my ultimate smog era guide. So it's all the cars with like 6 litres, 112 horsepower. You know, big capacity, small output.
Yeah. I still remember borrowing a pickup truck when we were filming something in the US years ago. Borrowing a GM pickup of some sort. And it had one of those weird sized engines, like a 4.1 V6. And there was a spec sheet in it. And I'd been driving it a bit and I was thinking, this truck is not fast.
No.
And it was like 102 horsepower or something.
And you were leaning on it.
What are you doing?
Well, what's the point?
I could make more power than that just by throwing rocks at a wall. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's just, yeah, it's standard.
That was when I think
hangover from the smog era. I mean, this was in the early 2000s, but...
And people couldn't accept that if they put a well set up 2.5 litre motor in it.
Well, that would be communism.
Would it?
Simply not allowed, yes. There ain't no replacement for displacement. What?
Iced tea.
Yeah, I like an iced tea.
Yeah. You've been on holiday recently, haven't you? That's a been on holiday recently purchase.
I think it would be more, because we did go to Spain. We went to the Canary Islands. I think it'd be more obvious that I'd been on a warm climate holiday recently within Europe if I was drinking an incredibly pissy lager that I'd enjoyed greatly in the warmth of holiday.
Yeah.
And got home and gone, ooh, I fancy a bit of... Look, they've got it in Sainsbury's. Look, that beer. Spollenlager. You go, it's brilliant. I don't even know where it's from, but they served a lot of it out there. And you get a 4-pack of it. You take it home, you open one, and it's absolute filth. It's
so you just got to chill it down and hold your nose and put it.
No, it's just, I think it's.
Or do you give it away to friends?
I think you might give it away to friends.
Non-friends, tradesmen. Have you ever given a tradesman an alcoholic beverage?
No.
I have.
In what context?
I'm not going to say what company it is because I don't want him to potentially lose his job. But he'd done a really good job because he'd been delivered the wrong bits of this thing he had to install. It was a hot day and he was out there, and you know, he'd been sent the wrong parts, but he'd managed to work his way around the problem and use other components. And worse than that, he went to leave after this right old faff. I'd given him 100 cups of tea.
Yeah.
He'd only have one wee. I don't know how these guys do it.
It's part of the qualification of the job, isn't it?
It is. You've got, as a tradesman...
Because it's bad form to use the loo too much. Although, you say that, I had a chap come around, I can't remember what he was doing. I think he was fixing the dishwasher. He had poo in my house.
Very rare.
In the loo, I mean, he didn't just...
He didn't just squat.
Defecate.
Next
yeah,
to
I've replaced the seal, it's all alright. By the way, I'll clean that up if I were you, it's attracting flies. No, he went into the loo, but he went, where's your toilet? And I went, it's just there on the stairs. And then I was sort of standing in the kitchen. We were kind of still discussing the problem with my dishwasher. It felt like I was still required to be around. Because you know, you've got people working in your house.
Yeah.
There's always that thing where you disappear off, and then they have to do the hello.
Oh yeah, it happens
from
to
another room.
Yeah.
And I don't like that because I find it embarrassing on their behalf. Hello?
I always make it clear where I'm going. I'm going to just be up there.
Yeah, okay? I do as well. But but it's not specific enough, is it? Because they don't know your house. Yeah. They still have to stand in a very neutral spot. They can't start going into rooms.
And then they got
That's the tradesman's code. You cannot start going into rooms. That looks weird.
Tradesman's code. You have to be able to start work at 7 in the morning sharp.
Why is this?
And not need a poo at all during the day.
Well, you just get your poutine down, don't you? So they're having the poo after they knock off, which is usually at sort of like 4 or something.
But between 7 and 4, think of how many caffeinated drinks you're drinking. You're going to need to log on. You are.
I don't know.
You'll be walking in a very specific way by the end of the day. You really will.
It's true. So just to recap, you gave the man who installed the thing we're not going to mention an alcoholic beverage because of work well done.
He'd solved a problem. Been a longer day than he anticipated. Very hot.
Yeah.
He'd gone to get in his work truck, which I was admiring weirdly. So, oh yeah, this is my new company vehicle, and it had a massive ECU meltdown and refused to work.
Okay.
He couldn't leave my house. He was on the drive. He said, "Oh, the recovery's going to be another hour." He said, "I've had to cancel the rest of my." And I went, "It's going to have to be recovered." I said, "Oh, are you going to be recovered back to base?" He said, "Yeah, I've got no choice. It's a real shame because it's a nice truck." So I said, "I knew I had some San Miguel in the fridge."
Yeah.
I went, "Do you want a beer?" And he looked at me and he went, "I'd love a beer." So I went and got him a beer, and I said, "I'm going to have to carry on with more work. I'm really sorry."
Did you have a beer?
I didn't, and then I realised sort of half an hour later he was still out there. I said, "Do you want another beer?" And he went, "Go on then." And I gave him another beer, bottles, not pints. And then I had one at the same time.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, in a way, what you've done is, in fact, you've bought him off to leave you alone because you've got stuff to do.
Yeah.
He can't leave your house.
No.
But a beer will make that go a bit faster.
Let's go.
Okay.
Have you got any more food?